Hi, I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live number 93. Today we're going to talk about, will chest voice extend upward and replace lower falsetto? This is really a great question that I received this week. We're going to talk about that. So I want to welcome you all today. We're a little bit early. It's our pre-show, and at the top of the hour, we'll begin our show. So just want to say hi to nobody. Oh, there you are, Yamin. Hey, M. Yamin. Great to have you here with me today. And so this is going to be an interesting topic because there's the question implies a little bit of misunderstanding. So, hey, days, hey, something, more days, Bruno Inferno. Thank you for letting me know if you can hear me and see me. I appreciate it. Um, I'll move my mic just a little bit closer in case it's a little light. But hey, Daniela, hi, nice to have you here today. How's the weather in BC, Daniela? It's about 90 degrees here and just a little bit further south of you in Utah, in the States. Um, but we're kind of west. I guess we're not west coast, but we're kind of west. So I guess we're probably like below Calgary. That'd probably be more accurate to say. But okay, so have you ever tried to extend your voice upward? Have you ever tried to, not in your voice, but your chest voice, try to extend it upward, higher and higher? Let me know if you have. Let me know in the comment section. Yes, you have, or no, you haven't. If you have, what happened? Have you ever tried to like get that chest voice, kind of extend that ceiling of chest higher and higher? Well, let me know if you have. Hey, Joe, nice to have you with us today. Thank you. I'm glad you can hear and see okay. So this is going to be a great topic because I think that this is how I used to think that you made, that you extended your range, that you just somehow kind of like kept banging against the ceiling of the chest voice, and eventually it would go up. Have you ever tried doing that? Tried to just like over and over again, just kind of hit chest a little bit harder, and over again, hoping to get another half step? I think I remember doing that. It's pretty stressful on the voice. Yeah, Joe says too much strain. So for days, oh maybe it's for days. It says, first of all, thank you for everything. Last time I asked you a question about the larynx. You said that it shouldn't move. I watched a lot of your videos, even read SLS. Oh, cool. Great. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, it's going to move slightly, but what it shouldn't do is like disappear up into your neck and back down. That's what happens when you swallow. It goes way up and comes back down. So it sure shouldn't do that. So looks like completing for days is a concept here. So I understand the concept and use it a lot, but there is one thing I don't fully understand. As I go up the scale, it looks like my larynx moves up, like not like in swallowing mode, not that far. Yeah. So hey, thanks, Altu. I think it will be interesting. So, it's not set in cement, and there has to be some tilting also of the larynx as you go higher. Um, but you know, I I can I can hear the larynx going higher almost easier than I can see it. Because if somebody says, I can hear it going up. I can hear the vowel spread, the larynx is going up. So, it's been said that maybe you could compare the larynx to like like a buoy in the water. It might just kind of, do this little thing once in a while, but it's not going to go whoop. It's not going to go up and back down. You're swallowing. So for days, you could say that there's motion, but as far as like it just going up, uh, there's a difference in that. There's a difference. So Daniela says, I always try to extend my chest voice. I always try to extend my chest voice upward. I did that this Sunday at church, and someone posted it online. It was horrible. Don't you love YouTube or Facebook? Any videos? It was a horrible ugh, total habit when under stress. Join the club, Daniela. You're not alone. Not at all. It happens. Um, okay, so Berno Inferno says chest range upwards. Yeah, that's kind of what the concept is. If you imagine in the room you're in, if that was the top, that was chest voice up there, the ceiling, and you pushed that chest voice a little bit higher, I think that's kind of what I used to think. Just had to push that chest voice a little higher if I could get, another half a note, or it was always horrible, never turned out well. Meadow says, "Hey Chuck, I am really keen on how to control my larynx and try not to move it. Really keen on how to control my larynx and try not to move it." Okay, well maybe we can get a little bit more into that. So Berno also says, well, I can belt to the G and G sharp, but that's the top. I strain beyond that limit unless I mix. Hey, Horizon, nice to have you here. Thank you. Nice to see you. So I've gone past the top of the hour. It's three minutes past the top of the hour, and I want to say welcome to Power to Sing live broadcast number 93. We're going to talk today about what will chest voice extend upwards and replace lower falsetto. And this is a question that I received this week from one of the subscribers on YouTube. It's a great question, and it's something that I think many of us have tried to do, not knowing how to increase our range. And so you think that by kind of like weightlifting or something, that if you could just do your max, just max out a few times, that way next time you lift, you can lift a little bit more weight. Or in terms of singing, if you could just max out, just kind of pound that top, next time you come back, you'll be able to go up a little bit higher. It just doesn't work that way, does it? And several of you have already said that it doesn't. Danielle said, here's the thing I've learned. Really good vocalists that have strong mix which can fool the listener into thinking they're pulling a chest voice because their mix is so strong it sounds the same. I feel it's an audio illusion. I think that's really a good point Daniela makes, is that some really good singers, their voices are so solid when they're in the bridge and even in head voice that it simply sounds like it's just more and more chest, when actually it's mix or a head voice. And so I think that's a really good distinction. We'll talk more about that. Yeah, Daniela says, when we, oops, looks like I moved and it went blurry on it. When Danielle says, when we try to copy it that way, we falter. And yeah, it's just, it's really not the way the voice works. I know I think there are a lot of teachers who try and raise the ceiling of the chest so that you keep going higher and higher with chest voice. And that's really, I think, a problem. And it leads to abuse of the voice. It could lead to damage. All right, so let's talk about then what's going on here. I want to talk about the whole question that he sent me. He said, he asked if I keep doing the Bratty, Neighs, and the bubble lips, up to the chest ceiling, will that chest voice extend up? Because he has a problem. Every time he hit that top of the chest, he would break into falsetto. And even though I said, don't let it, it's easy for me to say, right? Don't let it break into falsetto. To do it's another thing. So I think what was happening is he would say, nay, 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 nay. It would just crack on him. And if he says, it would crack into falsetto even when he was doing bubble lifts. So he couldn't figure out what to do. So you might be tempted to say, nay, 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 nay. And in other words, you're kind of pounding the ceiling of the chest voice, hoping that that nay, nay, nay somehow will extend the ceiling of chest up higher. That's a wrong concept that doesn't work. Um, and and so the same would apply with a bubble lip. It won't necessarily raise the ceiling of chest. So let's talk about it and see what's really happening here. Um, when the vibrations are occurring in as we approach our bridge, and so ladies, for you, it wouldn't be the E, F, F sharp, it would be the A, B flat, B, and C. Same thing happening, just up there in your bridge. That we can't just keep pounding the top, pounding the C sharp above middle C. If you're a female singer, you can't keep pounding that and hope that you're going to be able to continue to pull the chest voice higher and higher and raise that whole ceiling. In other words, like change your bridge, right? So it doesn't work that way. Instead, what happens is the vibration is going to move up. It's going to transition. The vibration is going to transition into your head cavities, no matter because it's just a physics principle. And so if I said, if I keep fighting that resonance shifting up and keep raising the larynx, I am going to be pulling my chest voice higher, but I'm not going to create a higher register. I'm not going to move everything upward. I'm not going to lift the ceiling of chest voice. All I'm going to do is pull chest until I strain so hard that I crack or break if I kept on going. So what is supposed to happen there? It's supposed to begin to transition from just pure chest voice in that bridge area, E, F, F sharp, and the ladies A, B flat, B, and C above middle C. It's supposed to begin to have some of that vibration begin to go vertically higher into your head. And so now you've got some of the head vibration and the chest vibration going at the same time, or a mix of it. And it relieves the pressure, it relieves the tension, and it actually sets you up then to be able to continue to go on up into your head voice. That's what's supposed to happen. So Ian says, hey Chuck, I always wanted to ask, is there any point in stretching the head voice downwards to where chest normally is? Sometimes I hear singers balance between chest while singing and chest and head while singing low. Yeah, Ian, it's not it's okay to bring the head voice down. It's not okay to pull a chest voice up. And I would say that there's probably a limit to how far you want to bring head voice down, and it depends on the song and so forth. But it's certainly not going to be abusive. Now, for some, particularly some female singers, I would say that it can borderline wash out the voice. It can kind of get real smooshy and if they're bringing down head too much. But I think it's always appropriate to have a couple uh, as you do that and try it. You're going to find that it creates quite a nice blend between the chest and the between head and chest. It really smooths things out. I can maybe illustrate that if I said no 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 no. I'm going to go in half tone increments. You hear how gradually the chest voice came in. Now I can, if I come in too hard, you know, I so by just transitioning easily into your chest, by allowing a little of that head to come down with you, or bringing the mix. So so let me clarify that. I probably have misspoken a little bit. I'm not really saying to bring all of head voice down. I'm saying bring mix down. So here's the difference. No. So I'm really bringing a very light upper head voice that I had down, and I don't think that's the idea. I misspoke when I said bring head down, and so Ian, let me back up and say bring my head and chest mix down a little ways. So it's okay to bring your mix down because that helps transition so well, so nicely into your chest. And but it's not okay to bring the chest up. So I hope everybody who saw that earlier keeps watching so I can clarify that. Okay, so what is happening? He was flipping into falsetto. So if it said, and no matter how soft you do it, or sorry, he was doing it on nay. Nay, 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 nay. No matter how quietly he did it, he said, nay, 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 nay. He was going in the falsetto. Now, I hadn't heard him. It's possible that he was going into mix or into head, and even into head voice, and he thought it was falsetto. So let's talk for a second about the difference between falsetto and head voice. Falsetto is a disconnected tone. Now, if I'm in falsetto, when I come back down, I have to break back down in the chest, reconnect in the chest. Now, it's possible that maybe he was going into light head voice. Nay, 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 nay. Sorry, wonky. Nay, 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 nay. So I was in a light head voice there, and sometimes singers confuse head voice and falsetto. Head voice is connected and blends in the chest. Falsetto is a disconnected tone and doesn't blend back into the chest. You have to reconnect it into chest. So that might clear up some of the confusion. Now, let me back up to Horizon's comment. The best and most healthy way to sing high with solid voice is to belt in chest dominant mix voice. This needs so much practice, strength, those CT muscles. Yeah, so I don't like the word belt so much, Horizon, because so many people interpret belt, and well, they just believe that belt is kind of like yelling the chest voice up, and I don't think that's what you mean when you're talking about a chest dominant mix. And I don't really believe in chest dominant mix. I believe in full chord, full vocal chord, full depth of chord production of tone. And with the full, if these are the chords, then they're getting the full chord depth in the production of the tone. And that full production of that full depth of in the production of the tone comes about when we're not squeezing or reaching. And that's what creates the full body of overtones and gives the voice its maybe chest-like quality. But I don't think it's necessarily chest dominant mix because that implies, in my mind, that description implies I'm pulling the chest voice higher and mixing it with a little head. I don't think that's the answer at all. I don't think that it's the answer. So I don't really agree, Horizon, with that terminology. I could be up in the night, but I don't think it's about pulling chest voice higher and then mixing a little bit of head in with it. So the chest dominant mix, I think, is a misnomer. I think it's really full depth of chord production of tone, which comes about by not straining, not reaching, not grabbing, not squeezing, and by a balanced voice. The bridge says it's like a little ramp between chest and head voice. Jamie, hi, nice to have you here today. Do you have a favorite rock song, and have you heard about men singing women notes? Yeah, I've heard men sing. I've heard that all my life. You know, I can't remember right off the bat right now, but I've heard singers that for years I thought were men that were women, and women that were men. So, but my favorite, do I have a favorite rock song? Oh gosh, I like "We Will Rock You," Prince. I think that's a blast. Um, Probably because they used to play that at my daughter's soccer club, our high school soccer team. They won state championship and they play that before the game, and the whole all the stands are rocking it, stomping on this. Gives me the chills. Dana sorry, Dana. Dana. Hi, Dana. The R&B Rocka. Hi. Hi, Chuck. The blend is so easy to sing. Too easy. I feel like I must be doing something wrong. I think it's even changing the sound of my chest voice. I think, Dana, what you're going to find is the better you get at mix, the better your chest voice is going to get, and the better your head voice is going to get. It just seems to kind of make the upper and the lower better. Daniela, Chuck, is it best to aim to always sing in a mix? Because I find when I am in my chest voice, I tend to want to build a teepee there and set up camp for a long time. That's a good way to describe it, Daniela. And not, yeah, so a long time and not come put. Okay, so maybe if I just always sing and mix, I don't have to worry about the transitions. Yeah, that's one thing that does happen. And actually, I think you'll find that um, now we're getting a little bit off. That's really another great topic, but the mix is going to smooth everything out, and you feel the transitions much less, and people hear the transitions less. Ink says, Chuck, can you expand your range by singing easy song? Then when you get comfortable going higher and higher. I think that's a valid option or a valid approach as long as we're actually bridging and not just singing a light chest voice. So I could say, I'm just singing chest note, I'm singing quieter. So that's not the answer. We want to definitely be bridging, but I think in working in the bridge and bringing the volume down, it will help. The bridge says, pulling chest voice higher doesn't work, but strengthening the chest voice in its own area helps with the mix. What do you think, Chuck? Yes, imagine you guys if you were, when you're mixing something together, you have to have at least two parts to mix, right? So let's say you're making a cake and you've got flour and water at least, Um, if you don't have much water, very little water, and you mix it with a bowl of flour, what do you get? You don't get much of a mix. So if either voice, either the head voice or the chest voice is overproducing or underproducing, then your mix is going to be over one or over the other. It's not going to be really a real balanced mix. And so if you're a light, very light chest, then it's going to inform the rest of the voice too. And likely the rest of the voice will be light also. And what causes that lightness is the adducted chord structure. It just needs to be a little more firmly adducted throughout the range. But so I agree, alto, the bridge, if we, but I don't, so chest voice certainly is the foundation of the voice. And if it's too light, then the rest of the voice will be impacted in some way, probably it'll create a lighter tone quality than is optimal for the vast majority of us and what we want to sing. So I think you're right on, Altu. Ink says, I've been doing the vibrato exercises for a month, but I still don't have vibrato. Keep at it, Ink. It's really not too hard. It's there. You can get it. Britt says chest element mix is what some teachers call healthy belting rather than pure chest yelling. Yeah. Um, yeah, if there's such a thing as healthy belting, it's all, again, I don't, here's where I'm coming from. If I said, some people will belt, and I haven't been trained in belt. I haven't taken a course in belt, but the belt that I hear is usually high larynx. And so it's very similar to nay, 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 nay. It's got a little bit of that bite cut to it, which is okay, but there's also some overtones missing. Nay, 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 nay. So it has to be. There's some things missing because the larynx is up. So I don't think that that's the way to. It's a shortcut cheat that is cheating your voice a little bit. I know there's going to be a dozen or 30, 40, 50 other teachers that disagree with that. But I think it's possible to have a very belty kind of, I don't know if belty is even the right word, a very solid head voice. Ma 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 and not be belting. That wasn't belt. That was just my head voice. Ma 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 now I'm in my second bridge. So I think it's possible to have the full depth of the chord structure going, and then a lot more of the voice kicks in, rather than manipulating the voice by raising the larynx or trying to pull something higher or do something else. I'm not trying to do anything else. I'm just leaning into the feeling of letting go of it. Ma, 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 ma. So when it comes to answer this, to get back to the answer to this thing, is it possible to keep pushing the ceiling of chest voice higher and higher to extend chest range? No. We want to connect the voice, so we don't want it to go into falsetto. So the first order of business is nay, 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 even if it's that quiet. If that doesn't work, then it's got to be something like right through that bridge. Or with the bubble lips, we've got to start establishing the connection. Then we can start working to bridge. In other words, start getting into that bridge. And again, you can do the same thing. Nay, 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 nay. Now that is the larynx. The larynx is high a little bit on that. That's why we discontinue that after you gradually eliminate that bratty sound. Nay, 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 nay. No, 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 no. So, but we got to build our confidence up that we can get through there and retrain our muscles not to seize up when, when we're singing to the bridge. So that's the pathway to that. Or a little dopey at first to keep the larynx down until you can do it normally. Ma 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 ma. No 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 no. That's the pathway to, and you can call that whatever you want. I call it mix, but full depth of chord mix. And I'm not in, amazing voice today. It's not too bad, but that's, I think, the way to great singing. And rather than trying to, pull chest up and mix it with a little bit of head and that kind of thing, let the voice, rather than chasing the sound, chase the condition. The vocal condition of not reaching, of the larynx staying at resting, low resting where you speak, and so that there's no added tension into the voice and no manipulation of the voice, no trying to position the palate or placing it someplace, allowing the body to do what it will do naturally. Okay, so I'm going on and on and on, but that's so. The answer is after you want to make sure you're not in the falsetto, then that little nay nay nay. What is that, you guys? Nay 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 nay. It's not pulled up chest. It's lighter than full chest, and it's also not it's not falsetto. It's deeper than falsetto. Nay 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 nay. Nay, nay, falsetto. It's not that. Nay, 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 nay. So in that bridge area, you're in your mix. You get it up into head. That was the F sharp. Nay, 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 nay. That's the G. That's where your head voice begins. Guys, and sorry, ladies, I don't mean to leave you out. So for the ladies, nay, 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 nay. So it is a form of a mix. It's not finished yet, but it's the beginning of a mix, and that's how you begin to increase your. That's how your chest voice doesn't replace falsetto. Your chest voice begins to mix in with head voice, and that's what you can take up into your upper register. And when it gets balanced and everything's healthy and full depth of chord without tension and reach, that's when it starts sounding, awesome everywhere. I got to get to Daniel. He's always got words of wisdom here. Daniel Uri, I've learned if the vowels are modified correctly, narrowed, and we lighten the vocal weight as we ascend, it's possible to bring more chord closure up, but the resonance must shift into our head. Excellent comment, Daniel. I so totally agree with you. Horizons, I agree with you, Chuck, but my definition of chest dominant is when your mixed voice sounds more like your chest voice instead of head voice. That's why I use the solid word. Okay. Thanks for that clarification. Ian says, thank you for the previous answer. Another one, does practicing mix with Bratty Neighs also improve my light head voice? Yeah, so you could say, or should I rely on gee 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 goo goo goo? You want to do them all. Inevitably, we need to be able to do it all. But if you said nay 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 nay, oh sorry, nay 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 it's the high G, that's the lady's head voice. Um, it's not going to hurt at all, and you're going to be able to. I think you're going to get a little more depth of chord and coordination in the head register. I think that's a great exercise. You don't have to take it that high, but just to illustrate, I think that works for you. Um, but you can also do the gee gee gees and the goo goo goos there as well. As I said, eventually we want to be able to do it all. Inksa asks, when you do Bratty Neighs, no matter how Bratty, I get the chords don't how Bratty I get the chords don't stay together in the Bratty sound. They fall apart into light sound, not falsetto. Yeah, Ink, that's just going to take more practice. I have a lot of teenage girls that happens to, and it's so gratifying to see in a couple, several months, and they're coming here every week or every other week. Eventually, they do just what I showed you. They stay with that little Bratty edge all the way up to their head voice, whereas before they would let go and they lose that contraction. They lose that little added contraction in the chord structure to maintain that little edgy Bratty neigh. But I can do G is perfect. Still can't get, but still can't get above the bridge. So Ink, it's not perfect yet. If you stay dopey with it, goes hooty, hooty or hollow, you could call that. But if you don't, if the larynx comes up, the larynx is coming up, and so you lose that hooty sound. Um, Ian says, how many bridges do you have? Can you please demonstrate how they sound in your voice? Well, Ian, about every tritone roughly, we all have another bridge. So I actually am bridging down below middle C. So mine is that's a C sharp. That's the top of my first bridge. My second bridge is probably most of your guys' first bridge. That's the F sharp. G, I'm all the way through it. My third bridge, or your second bridge, lady's first bridge. That's my third bridge. And lady's first bridge. And then there's a D, E flat. Now that high E. It's pretty hard for me to get that. I mean, I can. I can get some tone there. I don't think it ever vocalized there in a song, but I might do exercises up to there once in a while. So and then there's so for the ladies, they keep going. That's generally their second bridge. Their third bridge would be A, B flat, B, and C, and then their C sharp. Now they're into the D6, E flat 6, and then the E6 is another bridge. So it just goes right on up. All kinds of exciting things. Once we get that first bridge down, then there's the second. Daniel says, Ink King, if Neighs are not working for you, why not try something else? If you always do what you've always done, you always get the same what you've always got. Yeah, great advice. Um, yeah, Daniela, it's true for all of us. If it doesn't work, and as a teacher, as a teacher, I've learned that if it's not working the first or second time for a student, to go on to a different one that they can do, because the more success we have in our lessons, then the faster we progress. It's taken me about 10 years to learn that lesson, and I still error sometimes because I want somebody to get it. Come on, you can get it. We can come back to it. Yes, Daniel says regarding the vowels, they are so important. Daniel, okay, thanks. I've been practicing my head voice, chest voice, but they still won't connect to a mixed voice. Well, keep after it. It works. It's probably because the larynx is coming up. That's usually what happens. The second thing you might want to consider is do it all softer. Just hard enough, just firm enough that the chords stay connected. Just that essential minimum, the indispensable minimum amount of chord closure. Okay, I know a lot about the voice, but unfortunately applying it is much harder. Right, Daniel? Yeah, I can relate. So, Chuck, can you sing your highest falsetto note in full voice? Can I? I mean, no, probably not. But I mean, I can sing, but I have no use for it. But that's the high G. That was falsetto. Okay, so that's not that high. I mean, a lot of guys can do, whistle tones way off the charts. I don't know if that's really turned falsetto, but okay. So Daniel to Ink says, your chest and head voice is strong. You need to spend more time working your bridge. Yeah, at the same time, volume. You don't want to lopside the voice. Daniel brings up a good point, you guys, and I think we pretty well have answered this question today. But when I'm working with students, if the chest voice is way overdeveloped, very strong, and the head voice is very light, it's really hard to get those two to connect together. Rather than try to make the head voice big to match the large chest voice, bring the size of chest down. Just really bring it down in volume and intensity. Do it much easier, and you're going to find your voice will progress so much faster. Then you can bring both the chest and the head up in strength over time. Ivan says, hi Ivan, nice to have you with us today. What's the best exercise to isolate the muscle that stretches the vocal cord to go to higher pitch? Leaving the other muscles relaxed, it doesn't matter if it's a lower pitch, then carry it higher. So I think that maybe if you're trying to isolate it, the muscle, which would probably be more like the cricothyroid, the CT. I don't know how easy it is to isolate that one to exclude all the others, but leaving the other muscles relaxed doesn't matter. One of the things you could do is that little squeaky door. So it's just like a So I'm inflecting my voice through, starting in chest and then inflecting it up into head. But I'm not disconnecting in the falsetto like a cow. And so with that little sound, here's my larynx right here. Because I'm not really moving the larynx at all, and so there's not a lot of other extrinsic muscles going. There is one muscle that's bringing my vocal cords to the midline, and then there's another muscle that's adjusting for the, well, you know what? There are other There are other muscles and there are other tendons and muscles involved. But that certainly isolates it from the extrinsic, uh, from the muscles that have nothing to do with pitch making. It isolates those from the chord structure. And I think that that might be a good way to go, um, leaving everything relaxed. So you do that little gallop, and then you do a mm, mm, in triplets, and then you do legato. And try not to engage any muscles at all with that little squeaky door sound. Okay, so Chuck said, after you do exercise in the high range, should you then try to sing songs in your higher range or sing in the same comfortable range? You know, you can do exercises into your upper range, and I think that your high notes in your songs, you should have at least one note or two in the bridge, um, and then ideally maybe a note or two just above the bridge, so that you have to move into the bridge and into head voice and back down again. If you're always singing in the lower register and never getting to the bridge or above the bridge, then you're going to kind of reinforce just the chest voice. So you want to pitch the songs, you want to sing songs. If you're writing songs, you want to pitch them so that you're in your bridge and above the bridge throughout the song. Maybe the notes of the song are landing in the bridge, but the lick or the embellishment is above the bridge. And that provides some for the release and provides for your development of your mixed voice. And that's what really makes the voice progress. But you've got to be to that point. So in your exercises, you've got to be able to do, you've got to be able to bridge without cracking and breaking and so forth. Ian says your high G and falsetto sounded like good connected head voice. I'm confused. No, that was falsetto. My so I can just connect that first one. I can't show you because it's hard for me to demonstrate the disconnection when I'm on a high G, but that's actually my head voice. So if it's a condition, it's the condition of the chord structure that if it's a disconnected tone, the chords are like this. They're just operating up here. But if there's connection so that you're in head voice, you're getting deeper into the chord structure, and it's not falsetto. So it's the sound, Ian, can be deceptive because I can sing. That was head voice. Is disconnected falsetto. Head voice. Falsetto. It's hard to tell. If Chris Sparks were here and he had his spectrogram on, he told me one time when he heard me do that, the spectrogram, he was playing it while we were doing this. He could see that there were missing overtones with falsetto, even though you couldn't hear it. The spectrogram could detect it. So how high your high G and falsetto sound like? Okay. And then Ivan says it seems that it is same in sports. Isolate the muscle for the movement, develop the isolated control. I think there's a lot of similarities, Ivan, between training the vocal cords and training other muscles and coordination in the body. And chief among those is that it can't be rushed. It really can't be rushed. Okay, you guys. Thanks, Ian. I'm happy to demonstrate. Sometimes my demonstrations are not the best, but hopefully they illustrated what we were talking about today. So you may have all heard about Singer's Impact. Hey, Daniela, nice to have you with us today. So ciao to you. On Singer's Impact, you guys, I left the link down below. We closed the card last week. It's our membership site. We're going to deep dive into step by step, stage by stage learning singing. And so even though the card is closed, down below in the description, you can click on that link, get your name on there so that when we open up again, you'll be the first to know that the card is open, or that we're opening Singer's Impact again. And it will be open again. Just don't know exactly when, because we're spending time inside the site right now with the new singers, or the new members. So go down below and in the description, join Singer's Impact, and just get on that list. And love to see you there. All right, thanks everybody, and have a great rest of the day. Great discussion today. It was really awesome. Thank you. I'm Chuck Gilmore with Power to Sing Live, number 93. And remember, you can sing higher with beauty, confidence, and power. I'll see you inside the next video. Thanks.